Get a minute, don't know. Get a minute of your time. Get a minute of your.
I sure gotta live right, and I'm never gonna let you out of my sight. I've been knocked out, was a nice try, but I guess I get to keep my head on this time. God of the creation, the relations I've got, the only one that keeps me safe, the only one you should trust. For sure, it ain't right that I have checked the speck of dust from all of its sides. Fall down, that from my height, cause I didn't see the plank I have in my eye. And you said when no one's to be found, what keeps you eased out, what takes you off your mind. Guess you want this, I want this, everybody in this, we should have it. Stop illusions, it's in your hands, show yourself, reveal it to them. Check the time.
I'm like sweating. I'm sorry if I have pit stains.
So gross.
Hi everybody, welcome to RVS Podcast.
Today is going to be very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Why is it going to be very interesting, Maria?
Do I really have to be called out?
Oh, 110%.
I'm like
You're
feeling
going-
anxious. I'm like sweating. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have pit stains.
Yeah. No.
Miguel was like, why are you sweating? Well, I'm sweating because you were throwing stuff at me. Okay, but I have to be honest. If you caught our last week's podcast, I committed to writing the preface to my book. But I struggled and...
Here comes the excuses. Ready, people? Hang on, ready?
Okay, no, there's no
hang
excuses.
Hang on.
Okay,
Before you say anything,
Don't interrupt me. How dare you?
Give them an opportunity to sit down, grab some popcorn, right? and just and then so they're because this should be good. Go talk. Say it.
You know what? I am feeling like, I think... I feel like I'm gonna laugh, like nerves laugh or cry. It's one or the other that's gonna happen right now. Like I'm either cry or laugh or do both. I don't know.
So
hey, MJ's here. Hey, MJ.
What's up, MJ? So hang on one second. So let me get this straight.
Okay, should we tell them what we committed to last week?
Okay. So last week it was very, very clear. Very, very clear. So a couple of podcasts ago, we said that we're writing a book.
Yeah.
Right? And I had a goal of like a year from now, like a year and a half from now.
And you committed to December.
And then I committed to December.
Yeah.
You can't be better. I have to do better, right? And so she said she was going to be done in January 2023. And so I was like, well, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do December of 2022. So 1 month
before mine.
before yours, right?
Yeah.
And so we have these milestones that we needed to complete. Mm-hmm. And
Tell me, Miguel.
One of the milestones was a preface. And last week we talked about writing a preface.
Well, yes. You know what? I don't even have any. I have nothing. I have nothing. And that's why I'm a little bit embarrassed because even Miguel was like, look at you. All you say is like, I'm going to do hard things. Look at me. I'm doing And I was like, I can 100% commit to doing hard things when it's physical, when it's like fitness related.
There you go.
I'm like 100% in, right? But legit, when it's like other parts of my life, I still struggle with it. Like, and now I can appreciate how people struggle with fitness and nutrition because I struggle the same way in other areas of my life.
I did not see. Yeah. What do you mean question mark? Question mark for what? Yeah. Like, are you questioning if she wrote it? No, she didn't.
No. Okay. First of all, I did write something.
Oh my!
It doesn't
gosh.
matter.
So
first of all, it said by today. Is it not done? It doesn't matter when it was done.
So she comes to the studio. She came into the studio and she goes, "Oh, okay. So ready for the podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm ready for the podcast. And I showed her. I'm like, "I got my preface done." She goes, "What? What?"
I looked like that. Probably did look like that.
El qué?
Oh my god.
And I'll go, "Do you have your preface done?" She goes, "Is that what we're doing?" I'm like, "The title of today's podcast is The Battle of the Two Books."
Okay, and you're right. I was like, legit, I don't know. I don't even know how I showed my face today. I should have been like, I'm sick.
Can I tell you? I should have written it down somewhere. I thought you were going to cancel today.
You thought I was going to cancel
Yeah,
today?
yeah.
Why? Because of the book?
Something told me that you had not written the preface, and I'm like, in this
I wouldn't cancel though. I would be like, this is the thing. I may not have done something, but I'm gonna be upfront about it. I'm not gonna
no.
like try to hide it.
No, for sure. Well,
I told you I didn't do it. It's not like I was like, oh yeah, I did it, and then I you know what I could have said? I could have said, yeah, I did it, and then been on my phone and been like, oh my gosh, I have no access to it. I could have done that, and I did, and I thought about it,
would've
but
been
I
very
did not.
low. That would have been very low. But so we had 7 minutes before the show started. She goes, well, I don't have anything. I'm like, well, go outside.
Okay.
Voice to text, start writing. But you better have a preface because that's what we're doing today.
We are
reading
doing
out-
a preface. I have a preface.
So she's outside right here at my studio, right? And she's writing. Miguel got a list of things. What?
To say this guy's like full out throwing stuff at me. Like he gives me 7 minutes and he's outside throwing. But I do have to say that I might have needed that motivation, so I might need you to be like yelling at me.
How much did you write?
A page and a half.
Oh, dang.
What, you didn't think I could?
For reals?
Yeah, for reals. I just wrote this. Like
Did you write point forms or did you write like legit sentences?
I wrote legit sentences. I should have done point, but I wrote legit sentences. I don't know if it's gonna make sense.
It probably is
okay,
not.
but I had to do this because of the nerves. I totally forgot what a preface was. So then I had to quickly look it up. I had to Google it, and I was like, okay, preface, what does it mean, right? And then I kind of got the point where it was like it's the author's perspective of why you're writing what you're writing, right?
Right.
And so then thinking about that, I was like, okay. So I gathered my thoughts because I know exactly why I'm writing this. Granted, it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to...
No, of course. Neither is mine. Mine's going to have a whole bunch of mistakes.
But I guess that's the way. That's the way that has to be done.
Well, it's a first rough draft, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we're going from 0 to hero right now.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel 100%? This is what I battle. I should preface it this way.
Okay.
I battle with the fact that sometimes I'm like, I don't feel equipped enough to write it. I feel equipped enough when I'm like talking to people about it, and I'm like, no man, like when I'm talking about having a hard time and how like life is like a coin. You have to have a good side and then like a side that you struggle because it's balanced and you need both in order to grow in life. So I'm good at talking to people about it. When it comes down to writing, is like I have imposter syndrome, imposter syndrome. Is that the right word? You know that syndrome where it's like, who are you to write it? Who are you to be like?
Yeah.
So I struggle hardcore with that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm like...
You're going to need my book. You're going to need my book. I think I'm going to write it. I'm gonna write my book. You're gonna read my book, and then you can write your book.
Oh my gosh, Charles, I would write it at the same. But I'm like, I legit struggle with this, and I want to be honest with everybody because it's not. I've reached milestones in my life, right? And because of those milestones in my life that I've done, I know I can do hard things, right? But it's kind of getting into that, like, between knowing and like knowing in your head and knowing in your heart.
So here's the thing, and I'm gonna analyze you right now in a second.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Am I gonna cry? I feel like I'm gonna cry right now.
It's
Let's
one
see.
of the things that takes from Miguel is the strong faith and also motivation needed him to scolding me during the work.
Listen,
So I went to the gym with MJ.
were you scolding him? You know what, MJ? I'm like, that's legit what I experienced outside when he was like yelling at me. But I kid you not, I found it I'm crazy. I'm kind of crazy though. I enjoy workouts where people are yelling at me.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
No, with MJ, I was like, "Come on, man!" And he was like starting to lose form, and like his body was contorting, and like he looked like a stand-up pretzel, right? And I'm like, "Okay,"
my gosh.
I'm like, "Don't do the last rep. You're gonna hurt yourself, right?" But yeah, it was very interesting. Okay, so hang on. Here's my analyzism for you.
analyzing. Oh,
Yeah,
because I don't think analyzism is a word.
it isn't. It is now, though. It is now. It's. I think you've parked.
Yeah.
So let me explain.
Okay.
Okay. You were not. So you weren't always like physically. Is that you?
Oh yeah, sorry, that is. Oh dang, I forgot to call my sorry. My son is sick at home and he was marked absent and I forgot to call for him.
We never call. Like,
What do you mean? Then they call and text all the time.
Yeah, and I'm like, whatever. I don't pick up.
You don't pick up?
I don't
Oh my
know.
gosh, not
Parents, you should probably like do it, be responsible. But I'm like,
What do you mean? You're supposed. Well, granted, I wouldn't. Like, let me tell you, I probably wouldn't. But if it's for the fact that they start calling my cell phone, the house, and there's like number of messages left.
Oh, they're legit then. Yeah, they just call once and be like, your kid was Mark Gazin. If there's an error, please call back. I'm like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like,
Is that it?
They just call once and then that's it. They leave a message.
Before they used to call us like 10 times. Okay, let me go.
I dare you not to answer. Just don't respond back.
Please. Call for
They're like calling
Joey.
the police now.
Well, they won't call.
So we're doing this live. So let's everybody put your lives on hold because Maria not only forgot her preface, but forgot to call the school to tell
I'm a
them.
hot mess, okay? Okay, tell me more. Tell me about being parked.
So there's the thing. I think you've parked.
Okay.
And so here's my analyzing of you, okay? Is you had your first battle, which you won. You came out on top, which is doing hard things physically, right? So you weren't always like a physical person, right?
No.
You're just like, whatever. So that's a tough hill to go up, right? That's a mountain for a lot of people, right? And so you went up there and you pushed forward. You took the courses, you took classes, you had mentors calling you out, and you're like, yeah, I can do this, and then boom, you came to a place of plateau, and you're like, oh man, look what I've done, right? And you are so satisfied with previous victories that I don't think you are. I don't want to say you're ready, but something's holding you back from climbing that second mountain, right? And it's it's not just you, but it's happened to me as well, right? Like even with the business,
Like where you settle a little bit.
you settle. You're like I'm happy where I am now. I'm happy with the income that's coming in. I'm happy with how I physically look. Ah, man, do I really want to go on another push to get to another level, right? And then you start to do it. And then when you come back down, you don't come back down below. You come back to that plateau and you're like, okay, look what I've done. And so you're not starting from ground zero. You're starting from here. And so that's I went through that. A lot of people go through that.
Yeah.
It's a second, third, fourth push. The more pushes, it's just like, do I really want to do this again? And then you're like, yeah, you get excited. You get those bursts of energies and motivation. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, which is what happened last Monday. You're like, I'm going to get this preface done. It's going to happen. But then life gets in the way.
And you're absolutely right. Like I allowed life to get in the way because because
if it was fitness, you would have pushed through.
100%.
Because you have the formula, you know the know-hows, and you've done it before, and you're like, no means no. This is happening one way or another. And so now it's applying that same mentality into all other aspects of your life. Faith, which I think you've accomplished as well, right? But now academics, like writing a book and things like that, you have to take those same principles and apply them there.
Yeah, because I'm like, I feel confident in my ability to achieve hard things when it comes to spiritual things and physical things.
Right.
When it's like things like this,
Yeah.
I'm like, I have this like thought of not feeling good enough for it.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, but it's the same thought that you had when you were doing physical fitness.
Yeah, because you're right. I was like, when I started 7 years ago, I mean, granted, I spent a lifetime struggling with fitness and like not really liking it, not enjoying it. And then it was, you know what? It was the mentality that changed. It was like, I'm going to do it no matter what. It wasn't about getting those like that weight loss that kept me going, but it was about like the fact that I believed that by doing this, that things were going to happen and it didn't matter how long it would take. So I think I know that I need that same mindset when it comes to personal goals, right? Like different things that I'm doing. I need that mindset of trusting myself because I've been able to do it before. So why wouldn't I be able to do it now? But I was thinking about this and I'm like, it's crazy. I can accomplish so much more when I'm going through difficult times as opposed to when things are okay. Because things are okay now.
Yeah.
But when I was like in that like thick of it for 2 years, I was on top of it. I was like doing hard things physically. I was doing hard things spiritually. I was doing hard things like emotionally. Like I was like, I'm doing this because I'm in control and I get to choose what I want to do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, now you know a little bit about my how my mind works. I I struggle.
Yeah.
Let me be honest. I struggle.
Well, no, thank you, MJ. Thank you so much for stopping by, man. Yeah, make sure you log back in because we're gonna be reading our preface. So very soon, not right now. I'm just gonna chastise Maria just a little bit more.
just to feel a little bit.
But you know what? Level 1 is hard, but I think level 2, shifting into another gear, is harder because you tend to, when you fall, you're not falling on hard grounds, which is level 1. You're falling on a cushion, and the cushion's like, okay, this is not so bad. And you're thinking I still have a cushion, versus in level 1 you have nothing. You're falling on rocks, you're falling on spikes, you're falling on thumbtacks, and it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? You're not achieving, you're not succeeding. You're like, oh, I don't like this, and so that gives you the more motivation to go. And then finally you get your first cushion. You're like, oh, this is good. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go to level 2 now, which is like another thing. And then when you fall back, you don't fall back on thumbtacks, you fall back on a cushion.
Yeah.
And it's like, which is a harder battle to fight, versus because now before you were fighting against uncomfortability, now you're fighting against comfortability.
But this is the thing, like I am uncomfortable.
No, you're not. It doesn't hurt enough. You're not.
I
sick,
guess not.
You're not sick and tired of being sick and tired yet.
Oh yeah, it's true that, because I'm like, I think of all the other things I've done, and I'm like, I've been sick and tired. Like I hit rock. I had to have hit rock bottom where I was like, that's it. Like I don't like how I'm feeling, and I need to change it, right? But it's just, I do feel uncomfortable, but I guess not uncomfortable enough, because this is a constant thought, and it's a constant battle.
Have you ever? I told you the story of the dog and the nail, right?
The dog and the nail.
The dog and the nail.
No.
Oh my gosh, people, are you ready for this? Story time.
Okay, let me get some water while you do story time.
So this is the story. I'm pretty sure I've told you the story. The story of the dog and the nail.
I don't remember hearing it.
Okay, as soon as you start hearing, I'm like, okay, I've heard this before. So, but for some of our audience, they haven't heard it. So here's the story of the dog and the nail.
Okay, go for it.
There was a man that was walking down the street, and he looks off to the side, and there's an old man just rocking back and forth in his rocking chair, just going back and forth, and right beside him on the floor was a dog, and this dog was howling.
That's a really good like dog impression.
I'm telling you, I've been around dogs all my life. And it's just laying there, right? And the traveling man just looks over and it's like, well, and he looks at the old man, and he's like, well, maybe he's deaf and he's not hearing him, or maybe he's sleeping and he's not noticing. And the dog, and he's like, whatever. Anyways, that's his dog, that's his prom, his monkey, his circus. So he keeps on walking. Does his chores, groceries, all his other stuff. On the way back, he passes the same house, and the dog is still there. Whatever. And so the man's now like frustrated. Is that you?
Yeah, it's the school. I'm so sorry.
Oh, ready? Let's hear this.
Okay.
We're having a conversation. Ready?
Hello?
Hello?
See, I have to call.
She's getting in trouble. She got in trouble with me. Now she's getting in trouble with the school.
I know. My life is falling apart. Okay, hold on. Okay, one.
You should put it on the speaker.
Okay, Carol.
Line up until you have received your confirmation number. Select the type of absence.
Okay.
Full day.
Is there
It's
anything?
a full day.
Is it a type of reason? Reasons?
I always get freaked out with communicable disease, and I pressed it before, and I was like, oh my gosh, is public health going to call me?
You have
No.
entered this absence for Joey. Full day on June 6th.
Okay.
For reasons, because mother is slacking.
Absent to the school.
You guys are seeing. I'm like,
This is real life.
I'm I'm struggling.
For this absence is
My mothering, my my buck, my life.
now.
Do you want to do a tough mother? Because I can do hard things.
Shut your face.
Press 1
'Cause
to exit. Press 2.
I hope it's
Thank you for using Play.
all right. It's that this guy looking at me.
Listen, during a podcast, she's calling the school so she can report her child's absentees. Honestly, where else are you going to go for this type of entertainment? Oh my gosh.
This is real life. This is, you guys can see that I'm legit. Like, look at me doing a podcast of vision to success. Do I have a vision?
No,
Do I have success? No.
absolutely not. Let's do hard things.
Because I'm all like this when I talk to you.
So this man,
Okay, go.
so this man looks at the dog and he's like, I have to find out. There has to be a reason as to why this dog is whatever, right? So he walks up to the, right up to the front porch and to the man and goes, hi, sir, how are you? And he goes, oh, hi, how are you? And he goes, can I help you? And he goes, well, listen, I don't mean to pry, and I know that the dog's yours, but are you noticing that your dog is right beside you? And he's like howling, and he's like, oh, yes, he tends to do that, right? And he goes, do you know why? And he goes, yeah, actually, I do know why. And he goes, why is your dog howling the way that he's howling? And he goes, well, see, he's sitting on a nail.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? And he goes, oh, well, why doesn't he get up? And he goes, because it doesn't hurt him bad enough. And so with you, right, you got these things that are happening. They hurt, and you can feel the pain, but it just doesn't hurt enough to actually get up and do something. Because with your fitness, it did. You were in so much pain. You weren't satisfied. You looked at your daughter. Your daughter was your why. And I remember you telling me that you didn't want your daughter to feeling the way that you felt growing up.
Yeah.
And so you needed to change your whole entire life. Because if you change, your children automatically change. And so your why and then your motivation, that nail, you weren't just sitting on it. That thing was stabbing, like penetrating you. And so you're like, I need to get up.
I didn't sign up for a therapy session. You know that, right? Why am I crying?
She's crying.
Can we please not do therapy online on real life?
Listen, we're calling your kids. We're calling your kids school already. We might as well. There's tissues down there. Bottom drawer, all the way at the bottom. I'm telling you, they're there.
Oh no! You know why? It is because of the desk. The desk is blocking it from opening. That's okay. I'm glad that I put like a setting spray that my makeup won't be like.
She's legit crying, guys. I almost feel bad, but I don't.
Wait for the boogers. They're there. That bubble's coming. Just kidding. Oh my gosh.
But you are in this position now that you're sitting on a nail. It does hurt, and I think you have to do your 7 deep why on this thing, which is the next. Actually, funny enough, it's the next phase. But
our next phase is the act, plan, and do.
No,
we already did 7 layers.
Then I'm just joking. So it was just a test to see, but it's the whatever you do, you got to figure out like what's
holding me back.
What's holding you back? The nail's there. You're sitting on the nail, but it's just not hurting enough right now. For the fitness, it was you were getting cut deep, and then you're like, that's why that change kicked in. But for this, it's not there yet. And if you continue like this, the book's not going to happen in January, and that's fact.
The book is happening in January.
No, you want it to happen in
January. It's going to happen because honestly, I think... No. Okay, listen.
Okay,
I'm like, I think being called out a little bit hurts. It does because I'm like, I can reflect and I can totally see that you're right. It's uncomfortable, but I am comfortable because I'm comfortable. I'm not struggling financially. It's not like I'm like, I got to get this done because I got no money coming in, right? So it's not something like that. It's like what I want to do is like a deep desire that I want to do, but I haven't created an environment where I'm like, where I want it bad enough. Yeah. Like I want it. Yeah. But you're right. It's uncomfortable. I don't like feeling the way that I've been feeling. And I already realized that, right? Like yesterday was a big, like I had all these realizations, but I haven't dug deep enough and like just, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't had your aha moment yet. Not for this specifically.
And that's the fear, right? It's like the fear that I don't know how to get, I don't know. I want it and I want to get there and I'll figure it out, I guess.
Well, we're going to do some offline goal settings.
I'm like, do we have to?
Oh, yeah, we do. Because, listen, the only reason I'm in this hot mess, I'm writing a book listen, I got schools I'm going to. I got this crazy calling. I got this, I'm doing stuff. I got family. So I'm in the same boat with same load of poo-poos happening, right? And on top of this, I'm going to write a book. Who does that, right? Who gives themselves more work?
Exactly. Who does that?
Yeah, you made me do it.
Okay, you know what? Okay.
So if you are, yeah.
Why do you have to call me out like that? Like,
100
seriously.
Because we're twins.
We are twins.
You should read the thing.
Okay, I'll do it after. So I'm not like busy reading it. I'm like, I already done enough on my phone today where I was like, oh crap, my kid, like, I forgot to call. And I'm like busy calling them in sick. While I'm getting a therapy session.
That was funny.
All right, you ready then?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Do your.
You want me to do first?
Sure, do it first.
Me?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, do it first.
Okay.
I'll be inspired by your. Okay, so drum roll.
So for those who are just logging in, ladies and gentlemen, we are Maria. Yeah, Maria and we've committed to writing our books before December and January. Mine's in December, hers in January. So first thing was writing your preface, right? So I have my preface done. It needs a little bit of tweaking. I may add some more stuff, but for now, this is what I have.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Why is my heart beating? Like I'm nervous, dude.
Because it's your baby. You're putting it out there.
This is big. Like I'm not gonna lie. This is I'm struggling here. Okay, ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Welcome.
Is that really what? Is that really what you wrote?
No.
I was like.
It isn't. Okay,
go ahead.
the part. Ever since I could remember, I wanted more than life was giving me. So I grew up like any other child with a Latin mom. I was told I was special and important, but hearing it and believing in it are remarkably two separate things. I wanted to change the world and be seen by many. So I thought fame and fortune were the only ways. Now, while that may have been true, I quickly realized that it wasn't aligned with my other things that I wanted, like having a family, a large family, or simply having a calling in church. So I was off to the races, jumping from ship to ship every 2 years, and always changing because of bureaucracy, favoritisms, and bottom line numbers becoming more important than someone's soul. Don't get me wrong, the money was great, and so were the hours. I was making 6 figures, working half of everyone else's 9 to 5 hour jobs, but I wasn't happy. I was making money, but I was not satisfied. Seeking to change the world without a vehicle can make any grown man cry, which I did multiple times. Okay. Could these two coexist? Is it possible to make a difference in the world and get paid doing it? I was on a quest to find out. For years, I tried different things. I went back and forth and started my own businesses. I went back to school, but nothing was clicking. It wasn't until I discovered one magic question. What am I willing to do for free? For hours on end and not expect anything in return. Once that question got answered, question 2 commenced, which is what I call a journey of joy. Finding a way to monetize what you love. I was excited. I was pumped. I started dreaming big again. And at this time, I knew I could have my cake and eat it too. Ladies and gentlemen, Miguel Martinez was reborn. For a while. Little did I know that I would be frequently visited by friends we all know. These were the 7 imps. They would sit on my shoulder and work just as hard as I did, if not harder than me. I was upset, confused, and angry. No one told me about them. No one told me that they never slept. No one told me that they had a team and I was a one-man show. No one told me that they had resources and I had none. No one told me that they were doing this for years to many, and I just started. No one told me that they had so much experience, and I was still learning. These imps' prime directive was to get me to stop. I had to ask myself one last final question before throwing in the towel. Was this worth it? Or is this worth it? I could see the imps waiting to hear my response. As it came to find out, this was the final question before they can claim final victory. It seemed the world stood still just for me, waiting to hear my response. Finally, with tears in my eyes, I answered, "It is." I was off to a new journey. I quickly came to realization. These imps have been defeated before. It's time to find their conquerors.
That was great. I was legit not expecting it to be that good. I was like, dang it, I should have gone first.
That's so rude.
I'm just kidding. But listen,
So funny.
Listen, I know you're gifted with like storytelling and words and stuff like that. And that is really good, Miguel.
Oh my gosh. thank
That
you.
was like, how did it feel to read it out loud?
It felt it came alive. Like it felt like this is legit. I love storytelling. I love doing workshops. And anyways, so I just needed to go. I went in this pretending as if I was ready writing a talk.
So that's why it like decreased pressure a little bit, right?
So much. I wasn't writing a book anymore.
Yeah.
Right, that was going to be read by millions, because it is going to be read by millions.
100%.
Right, so it was I'm writing a talk for a workshop, and so I just needed to write. I just needed to do this. So once I did that, it lifted, like all my worries, all my fears, and just words just start flowing. Like I already know what I'm doing next. I know how I'm going to finish it off. I know where I'm taking this, but yeah. So
Wow. I'm so excited to read it. Honestly, that's so great, Miguel.
the 7 Imps. The
Check
7
it out.
Imps.
Coming to what?
This-
Amazon, Kindle, everywhere.
Yeah,
Store
yeah.
near you. New York best time seller.
Oh, 100%.
There we go. We're gonna say it, manifest it, and you're gonna get there.
Oh, it is. It's gonna 100%. And I already know I'm writing a children's version of it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Can you imagine kids reading the 7 Imps?
Yes.
Things that they can't do and how
Okay.
to defeat it.
It's so funny because I was talking to Mike about writing kids books,
Mm-hmm.
like literally the other day. Because okay, do you know that you can actually upload books to Kindle like now? So you could write the kids version first and upload it right away.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that after.
Yeah,
Because I was so excited. I was like, literally, that's like, I'm
Yeah.
like, it's an awesome thing to do to help parents and kids.
Yeah.
But then I also thought about the passive side of it, of having a book in Kindle that legit they can just be bought, and then it's like
Yeah.
passive income too, right?
Yeah, I want it to be so for the adults it's going to be like, you read it, stories, facts, the science behind defeating the 7 Imps. And the kids version, it's wanted to be just as powerful, but it's going to be more fun and interactive, things that they can do, even right in the book. Right,
awesome.
like a little bit of a worksheet. So as they're reading and they're reading the stories and they're reading how to defeat these little things, they can start writing, claiming their statements, and then doing all these different things. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at you. Ah.
Your turn.
I'm so excited for you.
I know.
I mean, like, who needs to hear mine when we have Miguel's,
Oh
right? I'm just
no,
kidding.
we are.
I'm
so
just kidding. I'm being accountable, and I'm gonna read to you what I wrote
Yeah.
earlier today.
7 minutes ago. Actually, no, it's 30 minutes ago.
Where's my glasses? I don't have glasses.
Here, you can borrow mine.
Is it like really? How?
No, it's like 1.5 or
Oh,
something.
I need more. Oh, I can see. Oh gosh, I feel so old.
Hang on, you didn't have glasses when you were writing it,
I know.
so now you need glasses to read it.
Well, let me see. Maybe I can read it without glasses. Oh, no. I need glasses.
Oh, okay.
I need glasses right now.
Interesting. All right.
Well,
Go
no,
for it.
it's because I was doing it quick. Anyway.
Doesn't
okay.
matter. Doesn't matter. Here we go. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be amazing because everything Maria touches turns to gold. Go for it. I'm giving you a pep talk, dude.
All right. It is like okay. It's a work in progress, but I'm excited to share it with you guys.
me
Okay.
too. I'm excited to
Okay.
go.
So it says this book has come from the feeling of being stuck in a burning building, from having almost everything out of my control, but realizing that even within that chaos of fears, of uncertainty, of tears, a joy could be found. Let me take you back to the last 2 years, filled with loss and pain. During this time of loss of loss and tears, we lost 2 very beloved people in our lives. We went through the pandemic. We experienced job loss. We experienced decreased income. We had the uncertainty of not knowing where we were going to go next. We had the additional pressures of homeschooling or virtual learning. We had social pressures. We had vaccination chaos. Life was not as easy. It is during this time that I was able to find joy and peace. How? I asked myself, how was I able to do this? And it was interesting because during this time, I committed to doing a cold shower for 30 days. It was in a moment where I thought that that shower was really just part of that commitment that I had made to myself to do hard things. It was during that time that I discovered that I literally could do anything and I could get through anything that life threw at me. My first shower was okay, hold on. My first shower, as I stepped in and felt the cold water in my body, I cried. I literally cried. I hugged myself for 5 minutes and I cried. I came out and I thought to myself, how can I ever go through this? How can I ever experience this? How can I put myself through such a thing? Day 2 came and I still was feeling pain. But then I thought, maybe there's other things that I can do. Maybe there's affirmations that I can do. Maybe somehow I can change my mindset. Then day 3 came and I thought, you know what? I have more control. I can choose to dance. I can choose to sing. I can choose to other things. And little by little, I discovered myself through these pain. Little by little, I chose to do one action at a time. It was when that cold water would hit my body and I would feel the numbness, I would feel the pain, but yet I would choose to turn up the music and I would choose to dance and move my body. I would choose to sing out loud, and then little by little, joy was found within my heart. Little by little, I started having fun. Little by little, I started smiling. I started enjoying that time that I had within. It was during this time where the most painful thing happened. It was during this time where we lost a loved one. And it was because of that cold shower that I was able to realize that even though I was experiencing so much pain, even though life was hard, even though I was stuck in a burning building. Oh my gosh, why am I crying? But even though I was stuck in a burning building, that I could get through anything, that I had everything within me and all the resources around me to get through difficult things. It was then that I found that pain and suffering did not only need to exist. It was there that I found that I could find joy, that I could find peace, that I can find myself, and I can find confidence. Through music, through movement, through realizing my own strength, I found myself, something that I didn't think I would. So it is through this journey of pain, it is through this journey of suffering, it is through this journey of numbness, of fear, of loss, that I was able to find joy and peace, that I was able to find that everything when my life sucked could be found. No, everything when my life sucked. Hold on. Okay, it was through this pain that I could see that even though my life sucked, that I could have joy, that I could have strength, that I could be myself, and I could still coexist in these two different worlds.
Wow, not bad for 30 minutes ago.
Listen, I gotta clear my thoughts a little bit, and I have to. But anyway, it is.
That was good, dude. No, if you wouldn't have told me, if you would have written that in your car, and not told me that you just wrote it 30 minutes ago, I would have thought that you like legit. That was like you had been working on it all week.
I need to. It's. You know, when I realized what the preface was and I was writing it, I took myself to those moments, and it makes me all teary because it is that realization that life can suck, but you can still have joy. Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. That I look at people and I look at people that suffer, and my heart goes to them, and I do I have empathy towards that because I experienced that, but I also know that there's so much more than suffering. There's so much more to life than just like trying to muscle through it or just trying to survive it, right? Yeah. So really this book is about thriving. Why am I crying? I don't even know. It's been like I got a therapy session. I'm like looking at my last 2 years. I'm like, you know what?
So hang on one second. So it was the cold shower that got you through the death of your father-in-law?
Yeah.
Really, eh? Mm-hmm. I would have never put those two together.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a talk too based on like
your TED Talk? The one that...
My TED Talk, yeah. The one at church I did a talk. And it was supposed to be 15 minutes. It ended up being 25 minutes. The next person got up and was like, well, I did have a few things to say, but I guess I'll just go to the end. I was like, oh my God. But nobody told me. Like, Mike was like, I was trying to like signal you to like, you know, it's time. But I was... Anyway. But yeah, it was the cold showers. And I'm like, God is good because... Okay, so I did 75-day hard, right? 75 days. I wanted to prove to myself that I had resiliency, that I had determination, that I could do hard things, right? The 75 days went up. I was so excited because I could do it. And then I remember making my bed. And I remember just being like, well, you know, like I reached this, kind of now what? And the thought came that when you're not progressing, you're regressing, right? And it was like, okay, you could do your 75 days again, but how are you progressing? You already did it. If anything, when you redo something that you've already done, sometimes you tend to fail because you're comfortable with it, because you're like, I've done it before. Yeah. So then I was like, I committed to doing these, like the phase 1 of 75 Day Hard, right?
And did they tell you to do a cold shower, or you pick something hard?
No. They tell you. So they give you a list of things, and one of them is a 5-minute cold shower, the coldest it can be. Like,
so no warm water, nothing.
Well, it's the coldest you can tolerate it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So it's an individual choice how cold you go, but you're supposed to not be able to be there any longer than 5 minutes. If you can be there longer than 5 minutes, then that shower, like, it wasn't cold enough and you failed, kind of thing, right? So I remember Mike did a video of me, and I legit first day I was like crying. I was crying, and it was so hard. I was like shaking. It was like the hardest thing I've ever done. Legit. Like I've done hard things, but I have to say that day was the hardest, because I'm like, it felt worse. Well, and it felt worse than labor. I've had kids, but I'm like, with kids, the pain, you're not choosing that pain, so you have to get through it. What did he say?
It goes, what's Miguel's next milestone? What is he going to have ready for the first imp?
Oh, there you go. See, I'm like, okay, we got to give a little shout out to Jason, because he is like...
And he said he was going to do this.
Yeah, and you know what? We appreciate it so much, Jason. Like, we need it. Clearly, we need this. So thank you so much. But yeah, anyway, so... the pain and all that suffering, and then I realized little by little, I was like, well, what if I do affirmations? Will that help me? So the second shower I put it on YouTube, and I did affirmations, right? And I was like, it wasn't strong paced enough. So sure enough, I got to, my father-in-law passed away in I want to say January 18th. So I had gone 18 days doing this cold shower and finding ways to find joy. Okay, so he passes away on the 18th. It is now the 19th. The 19th, we get a serious like stomach bug. Like, legit, my father-in-law passes away on the 18th. We're like all sick, throwing up. My kids are throwing up. I'm throwing up. Mike is like throwing up. It was horrible, right? And all I wanted to do was go back to bed and not do this. And I went and I did that cold shower. And I was like, because it was the only thing that I had control over.
Yeah.
And then the second day I was like, and then I realized that I was like, even through the pain of like losing my father-in-law, I was like, I'm feeling such an intensity of pain, but I can get through it because I got through my cold shower, because that intensity of pain was intense that first day. And I'm like, if I can get through that, I can get through this. So I was able to find ways to cope, right? Talking about it helped me a lot. I would share a lot on my social media how I was feeling on my stories. And then I leaned into things that would help me. So the cold shower helped me a lot, because I knew that even though I was sad, I could still experience joy. So I was still dancing. I was still singing. I was doing all these things.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, that is my journey through finding joy in pain, is through a cold shower.
I would have never, I tell you right now, in a million years, I would have never have put those two things together.
I think people find it in different ways, but I think for me, it was that. It was doing something that was painful and doing it yourself, because I could have stopped at any point, but then realizing that whatever you do that's painful, you can cope. You can have strategies around it to be able to alleviate it.
That's okay. So hang on. So Sasquatch, I mean Jason has asked us here what's going to be our next milestone. I don't know if I want to introduce all 7 imps.
So what do you want to do?
I don't know. Cool. So the preface is not done. This is almost like a part 1 cliffhanger. Like, let's go find their conquerors, right?
Maybe you can do just little excerpts of the chapter. Like, if you commit to writing 1 chapter, you don't have to say what imp it is, but maybe like a little story or a little like insert or
or I don't know, like, or maybe I do, like a teaser, give you all the imps and I don't know. I have to think about that one. But yeah, I do have to have something written. So I think. Okay, here's my next milestone. Jason, Sasquatch. Jason. Oh, and Jason asked when we're doing the next luau.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just all over.
I'm like, that's not a subject for the...
So we're all like there's 3 families and we're all like super tight, right? So Maria and her husband, myself, my wife, and then Jason Palmer and his wife Michelle. So we're like super tight. We go out and eat all the time, and they come over. We go over each other's houses, whatever. And we have a fire pit, and I bought tikis, and so we had a luau, and so it was phenomenal. Anyways, it was so much fun just chilling out there with the fire and everything. We talked about some pretty intense stuff.
We always talk about intense stuff.
I know, we always do. We're always chismandoing, man. It's like
We're always
gossiping.
like, okay, first of all, I feel like there's always tears.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's well, maybe it's just the last couple.
Just from you. Yeah, like I don't see Mike.
True that, just for me. I mean, but I cry here, so literally, like, we're good. It's like family.
Part of the system.
Don't worry.
But yeah, so here's my commitment. My commitment is next week is to have the entire preface done, like first draft. So this was a rough draft,
Okay.
but first draft, and that's edited. Maybe sending it to Sandra, paying her to go through it.
Why don't you wait? Why don't you wait till you have more of a manuscript to send it to her?
Right.
Yeah, just
for
wait.
the whole book.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't think you like. I think right now it's.
The preface.
Yeah, I don't think you need to have. I don't know. It's up to you, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I do want to have the preface done, because if I can get the preface done,
It's gonna give you guidance.
it is. It's gonna give me that. It'll tell me exactly where to steer the ship, right?
Yeah.
Go from there. So.
Okay, this is it. This
was today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for logging in.
Thank you for being at my therapy session. Let's not do this again.
Oh, we're doing this again. So hang on. That's my milestone. What's your milestone next week?
My milestone is to legit sit down and write my preface. And actually, you know what? Right now, I keep thinking about this anyway, right? And I'm like, and it's part of a personal progress workbook. What does it say?
Same question for Maria.
Yeah. Okay. So, so there's this story, right? And it's actually with regards to Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, right? He's a famous comedian. Yeah. And there was a young comedian that asked him, like, what is your greatest advice, right? And he was like, never miss twice. So as they talked about it, basically what he does is that he sits down and sets time of day every day to do the same thing, to write jokes every single day. He's like, it doesn't matter what the quality of the joke is. What matters is the fact that you sat down and you did it. So whenever you do it, your goal is to never miss twice. To do it enough. To do it, like to have your acts. And if you miss it, never miss twice. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm like, thinking and applying it to me. I'm like, I am committing right now to writing. I'm gonna commit right now to writing. I'm like, I'm scared of committing to an hour.
Why? Like, listen, hang on one second. Time out. Time out. You need to pay attention. Hang on one second.
Okay.
If you were a nurse.
Yeah.
Or you still are. You're still at a register, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many hours did you put into nursing? Like when you would go into work, clock in, clock out, how many hours a week?
What? At least 12.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on a... No.
Or eight, depending on what my shift was. It was at least the time, but usually it was more. But anyway, it was like 8 or 12.
A day. Okay. What about a week?
Like 48.
Okay. There we go. So 40 to 48 hours a week. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you not doing that to yourself right now, building the business?
I know. Because I'm scared. I don't know. Like,
You're firing yourself.
I know.
Because if you don't show up to nursing, the hospital will fire you in a quick second. If you had a job at McDonald's and you don't show up, you're getting canned. You're getting let go. And so one of the biggest problems that we have, right, when entrepreneurs, is that we don't have that same pressure because we are our own bosses. And so we just don't show up. I know you're waking up early, so that's phenomenal. But the hours to put into like the business, into the project, or to the whatever, not until there's that pressure. For example, the booklet that we did. That's a phenomenal booklet that you wrote, right? Like the finding the editing
that
whatever.
we wrote. Yeah.
We wrote, but like you put it together, you and all these different things. Like it was like, I mean, I was almost certain that you had it done professionally, right? Like it was bang on, right? But what? You had the pressure.
Yeah, I did. It was like a deadline. Like I knew I had to get it done.
Because you were doing that big event.
Yeah, it was
Right?
like this is gonna get done no matter what type attitude.
Exactly. So that needs to be, and so that's the same attitude people put when they go into a job, making somebody else rich. So now what you need to do is you need to put that into your own self. Be like, you know what? I got to put in my 8 hours a day today. Like, yeah, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and but I'm still an entrepreneur. I got to build this business. I got to build my book. I got to build this. I got to put in my 8 hours. And then when you do that every day, that's when you're going to see, boom, momentum.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what I need to do. I need to, yeah. Okay. So my commitment.
So commit to, here's my thing to you.
Okay.
Can you commit 5 hours a day?
Yeah, 9 to 1, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, till 2, right?
Sure. Like while your kids are at school, what else are you doing?
Psst, nothing, clearly.
I don't want to say it, but obviously. Hang on, you drop off your kids at what time?
8:30.
8:30. You get back to the house at 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so 9, and then you have to go pick them up at what time?
At 3:30.
Okay, so 3. So that 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 6 hours. And you have to eat in the middle. So minus, let's say, an hour. So 5 hours.
Okay, I'm going to commit to 5 hours.
5 hours a day being a business owner.
Okay.
So that's 25 hours. Can you imagine where your book, where whatever it is that you're building, whether it's another booklet downloadable, a worksheet or whatever the case is, can you imagine where you're going to be? Because that's 25 hours a week
Yeah.
times 4. That's 100 hours
And I wouldn't like
a month.
And that's the thing that I'm like, I'm so blessed to be able to do this from home because there is a flexibility that if the kids are sick,
Yeah.
I can be there. Something happens, I can be there. Something pops up, I can like.
Yep. Yeah.
I know.
So you know how you gave yourself that commitment, that showers,
Yeah.
right? So there you go. 9 to 12, you do your first shift. You go take a break, you eat whatever, and then you do your second shift. You do your 5 hours a day, and then you don't miss twice. You just keep going every single day. You wake up with this mentality. So here's what I would do. You wake up, do your workout, make a list of all the things that you need to do, and then that way, as soon as you drop off the kids, you come back to a list.
Yeah.
Right? And be like, okay, these are the things that I have to do, and then just like go time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, this is my commitment. And what I'm going to level up. So what I'm going to do is every day I'm going to write down things that I've done, and I'm going to bring that list next week.
You know, bring that list?
I'm going to bring that list so you can see because I'm like, listen,
Maria,
I have to level up.
If you don't bring that list, I'm telling you right now.
I won't show if I don't show up, you guys know why. Or if you see like like why is growing so freaking hard?
If you don't bring that list, oh no, my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's done.
Okay, 5 hours a day, 25 hours a week.
25 hours a week.
And then I'm gonna have a list of like things that I did in the day.
Yeah.
And then I am going to bring that list next Monday.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna include obviously a part of my 5 hours, I'm including our podcast.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
You got this?
I got this.
People, we are seeing reformation.
Reformation.
Reformación. Is that how you say in Spanish?
I know. I'm like, here I am. I've had like a 53-minute therapy session with like goal setting and like commitments.
So this is but hang on one second. This is perfect because this is what the podcast is, right? From vision to success. We've created a vision. Jason has given us this vision. Okay, what are we doing? And if you take a look at the scriptures, anytime that the Lord spoke to people, he would always tell them where they could go.
Yeah.
Right? He was very methodical in the way that he spoke to people, right? So where can you go? Where are your options? Like, you know, for the kingdom of heaven is like. And so he would paint these pictures and, you know, milk and honey and all these different things. And then so that's your vision. And then you take the proper steps to get there. And so this is what we've done. So Jason helped us. He gave us a vision. What's our goal? We set our goal. You have your goal. I have my goal. My goal for next week is to finish the preface and have all 7 imps ready.
My goal is to do the 5 hours a day of business building and then bring a list of the things that I've done next week.
Okay.
Like just kind of like bring a layout of what I've done. And obviously part of that is
So
the book.
what's the list for?
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, well, I have the book.
No, what's the list for? You said you're going to bring a list of all the things that you've done.
No, not a list. Like just mostly what I mean is just like, okay, like on Monday I worked on this, that.
Okay.
Right. So it's just more accountability with
Okay.
regards to like being
Okay,
accountable for my time.
Okay. And you're bringing that list tomorrow, next week.
Yeah.
I
I want to, and that's the thing, right? I do want to, I want to behave. I want to be a business owner, right? And I'm having, before I can do, I need to ensure that I believe in my mind that I am a business owner and then act like a business owner, right? So it's like, it coincides. I can't just try to build up this mentality without doing the work for it, right? So I think this is going to help for sure.
People, we're changing lives. This is what we do. So,
Tell us, what are you committing to next week?
yeah. What's your big thing? What are you guys committing to?
Yeah.
So listen, the best thing that you guys can do for us is obviously support us. We got all of the things up there.
You're old. It was his birthday yesterday. Happy
was.
belated. I mean, he did turn 50, guys. So
Okay, hang on one second. Let's get back to this. Hang on one second. I don't want to end off thinking that I did not turn 50. You relax.
He turned 50. It's okay.
I didn't turn 50.
You look great for 50.
I didn't turn 50. I didn't turn. I did not turn 50. But so I took a page right out of Maria's book. So it's funny because we're the same, but we're also polar opposites, right? Like, I mean, you doing physical hard things is easy for you. For me, it's still somewhat of a challenge. Like I still whatever sweets, diets. I'm not disciplined. And then reverse, like mental things when it comes to like, I mean, I don't even know because you're strong there too. So I don't even know what I'm talking about. But the point is, we're learning. I'm just rambling. The point is, here's the point. Here's the real point.
Tell me your
point. The point is that we learn off each other.
Yeah.
Because your whole, when you said, I'm committing for, the 75, what's 74?
75 hard.
75 hard, then the 30 hard. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to do something like that as well. And I need to hold myself accountable. And so, yeah, so I'm doing twice a day gyms and I'm waking up at 3, leaving my house at 3:30, getting there for.
So you worked out this morning already?
I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I got one more workout. I'm changing my diet completely. Only 1 cheat day versus 9 cheat days a day. And
you okay? You look a little nervous there.
I know. I'm starting to get hungry. I got my vegetables upstairs. I have to go eat.
You have to.
Ugh. But yeah, we learn off each other. So this is we're anyways. I got some certain goals that I want to hit by certain times. So
Do you tell them your goals? So like, go ahead.
my goal.
Yeah. What's your goal?
So I want to cut and I want to shape up. But there's a pool party coming up, and I don't want to. I want to take off my shirt and I want people to be like, dang!
It's not like you're gonna do it slow mo, eh?
Oh, 100%. I'm gonna put on a wig with my long hair. Watch out.
Fulvio style. Fulvio.
No. Fabio style.
I'm like, Fulvio, hold on.
Doves flying behind me.
He's gonna invest. You're gonna invest like a couple $100 in the whole thing.
100%. It's gonna be a full production. Smoke, lights, and then all of a sudden, watch out.
And there's gonna be music in the background, like angels.
Enya.
I'm dying.
All right, that's our intro, ladies. Outro. So again, thank you so much. The best support that you can do is following us on all our social media sites, and all the links are up there, or you can see it. Everything's at MTC Life, and make sure that you sponsor. How do they support us?
Get our shirts, people. Get our shirts. Honestly, you can be rocking it right there. You're supporting our business. You're supporting what we do, all our insight that we share with you, and the best part too is you get to remind yourself how awesome you are.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it keeps the show alive, right? And so it allows us to continue doing this kind of content. and giving things out for you guys. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and I would love to give away a shirt. What month are we in?
July. But let's bring it up next because we keep going in and out. It's
Well-
like let's just do the outro, figure it out, and then we will come in. Miguel, he's like, put me in, coach. What else do I? All right, guys.
We'll see you
Thank
guys
you so
next
much
week.
for logging on.
Bye.
Get a minute, don't know. Get a minute of your time. Get a minute of your.
Hush up, gotta live right, and I'm never gonna let you out of my side. I've been knocked out, was a nice try, but I guess I get to keep my head on this time. Part of the creation, the relations I've got, the only one that keeps me safe, the only one you should trust. For sure, it ain't right that I have checked the speck of dust from all of its side. Fall down, that from my height, cause I didn't see the plank I have in my eye.